How's it going, peeps? Welcome back to Viva La Coin. I am Joe. I will be your host for today's episode about Binance US Exchange. What's it all about and why can't we, like the rest of the world, use Binance, the main international crypto exchange, aka the largest crypto exchange in the world, even bigger than Coinbase? So we're going to cover all of those different details, as well as take a very top-level view of the Binance US Exchange, a little bit of its functionality, although I'm not going to go too deep into some of the staking just because I do not use it. I would never recommend that anyone else does. There are just far better options. However, for those of you that want to use it just on a base level to get to cryptocurrencies that you could not access otherwise, that is exactly why we're going to cover this in today's episode. Now, as always, we are going to start taking a quick peek at Bitcoin. And I apologize about pulling that screen down again, but hey, you know, we just got to live and learn to deal with that shit until I figure out how to stop doing this. But for Bitcoin, look at that, right on the cusp of $51,000. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I'm not me. I'm not, by no means am I a financial advisor. I was saying it was going to $0, obviously. But we are looking very strong there, and we have a fun-filled March ahead of us. As far as how I want to break down this exchange video, I want to give you first a visual of Binance, the international site, the one that you will not be able to use for a couple distinct purposes. One, anytime you see me with this screen up and I'm tracking Bitcoin's price over here and watching all these daily candles and the RSI and all these other factors, I am almost always watching it on the main Binance exchange. Although I'm not currently logged in, I do have an international login to Binance, the original one. This was the exchange I was using back in 2017 and is by far my favorite exchange available. However, if you are now tied to a US bank account, there isn't much that you can seem to do with it. However, they did unlock it for me over the course of last summer so that I could pull off all my remaining cryptocurrency over into my US-based version of Binance, which at least I'm thankful that they did that, because God forbid I ever had to get a hold of anyone from service in Binance US, and that would be a different story entirely. But just to give you an idea of how the main Binance system operates, the reason why I want you to be able to access this site, even though you're not going to register on the main exchange, we're still going to put this link in the description for you. There are several key resources available on this site that I want everyone to be able to have access to should you want to learn more information about different cryptocurrencies, different blockchains and how they interact, or how the research goes into it to help make better decisions. So for the Binance Academy, and you'll see this on, if you just go to their main website and just go over this main block, you're not going to the exchange, you're not trading, but they do have a couple different tabs here. One of which is an academy. And this will break down some key information about Binance, how they incorporate with different cryptos and banks. They'll give you breakdowns on trading or different things to look for in the charts, if that's something that you're interested in, or if you already have a current career in finance, just to see how it can correlate to cryptocurrency. All useful information, as well as if you go into these tabs, you can also go to Binance Research, which under this tab, it would be towards the bottom, and actually go through every single project and all the reports and research that's currently come out on every single thing that's listed on Binance. Although, again, this isn't going to be the main exchange that you use, I think that this information is so vital. And I spend more time on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, different research sites than I do on the exchanges, probably tenfold, just to understand what exactly we're putting our money into, exactly how that's going to replace different things in centralized finance. That's where the value lies. So knowledge is power in pretty much anything that you do, and that does not change in the world of crypto. So I'd recommend going to this site and checking out any cryptos that might have caught your eye as you get into this space if I've not covered it, or if you want to expand your knowledge. I'm not going to say hold your horses and wait for me to put out 5,000 videos to inform you on everything. I'm a big fan of people self-educating. I want you to be self-sufficient. And the more we all know, the more we can all collectively succeed. So I want to point this out to you. Now, as far as the Binance Smart Chain, they have a native token, just like the Ethereum network has the Ethereum cryptocurrency. Binance has its own native token, which is the Binance Coin. Now, I'm going to do a separate video entirely on the Binance Coin, or for short BNB, B Nancy B, and that whole ecosystem that's referred to as the Binance Smart Chain. It is a lot of information in and of itself, and I don't want to overwhelm anyone in just a singular video. But let's talk about as to why Binance US exists before we go ahead and look at my account on Binance US. So back in November 2020, we started blocking US residents from accessing their main exchange on Binance. And this came to a shock, came as a shock to multiple people that haven't been following cryptocurrency over the course of that bear market from 2018 up until 2020. They saw Bitcoin going back up, and they're at home, the pandemic hit. Oh, let me log back into Binance and pull all my shit up. Well, too bad, you're fucking blocked due to different legal issues, and everyone had to scramble to try and figure it out. But what exactly happened? So during the US investigation into a platform known as BitMEX, so Binance Move comes soon after the US government launched twin legal cases against the crypto derivatives exchange BitMEX. Now, I'm not a fan of BitMEX, and if you've remembered over the past couple videos where I said Bitcoin is dipping because of just a couple exchanges and a couple mining pools that are tanking the price trying to keep it low, BitMEX is one of those bad actors. Same with Bitfinex and their issues with Tether, which I'm going to make a separate video on if you heard about that SEC case. But the U.S. Department of Justice and Commodity Futures Trading Commission recently charged BitMEX and its founders for violating Know Your Customer, or KYC, and anti-money laundering regulations, among other allegations. In light of this case, BitMEX accelerated its KYC program, requiring all customers to be verified by November 5th, 3 months earlier than its original deadline of February 2021. Now, this should not come to a surprise that most countries were like, oh, okay, so know your customer, let's get all these identities verified and, untangle everything. But the United States has much more difficult to navigate crypto laws. So we're not super fast and loose like much of Europe or most of Asia. We tend to really crack down on that through the SEC, especially with the previous administration. And those individuals that were in there. So we are blocked from using Binance International, at least for the time being. However, with countries even like Russia taking that ban off and allowing their client base to use it, I can't imagine that over the next couple years, we wouldn't eventually lift those bans, especially with everything to come with mass adoption in 2021. But just a little background on what the main Binance is, some of the useful resources on that site, and reasons why you are not allowed to use it, and why we're at such a great disadvantage, especially for the majority of cryptocurrencies that aren't listed anywhere else. If you don't know how else to find them, then you're shit out of luck. But we'll be covering some different workarounds and decentralized exchanges and ways to find those cryptos anyway as we move forward. Now, back to the reason we are talking about Binance Exchange in general, and that is Binance US. So we did what any great exchange would do, is we would take something that's great and find a way to bastardize it, make it barely functional, and have about 1/3 of the available cryptos and have no customer support and call it Binance.us. The same company behind it isn't even the same one that runs Binance, and unfortunately, the customer service is just abysmal. Now, I would never actively advise someone to use Binance US if you had access to Binance. However, since we do not, Binance US is our best option when it comes to accessing specific cryptocurrencies, including that BNB smart chain where there is a ton of value locked up within those different cryptocurrencies. So I will recommend Binance US as a important exchange that you do want to log in and verify yourself on. Now, one thing I will say is when you're setting up Binance.us, there is a minimum 15-day verification period. And again, that has to do with everyone flowing into this space at the exact same time. You have so many people to identify and onboard, and with the already escalated lawsuits with Binance and the know your customer stuff, they're not going to half-ass that, because it would be just putting nails in the coffin for Binance US if they fuck that up. So there is an extended wait period. So if you haven't done it, I would get on that sooner rather than later. Not financial advice. Actually, don't even listen to me. But if I was you and I was interested in purchasing cryptocurrency, that would be an exchange that I would want to have access to. Now, we are your crypto gateway to the world. About us, well, it's because we blocked ourselves from the actual world. Participate in an inclusive crypto ecosystem and access cutting-edge trading technology built just for you. Launched in September 2019, Binance.us is a digital asset marketplace powered by matching engine and wallet technologies licensed from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance. Well, thank God they're letting us fucking do this. Operated by BAM Trading Services based in San Francisco, California, Binance.us provides a fast, secure, and reliable platform to buy and sell cryptocurrencies in the United States. So I talk a lot of shit about Binance US. At the end of the day, we have to work with what we got. And with Binance Smart Chain and what I'm going to be covering in the secondary video, there is a lot more value that they have opened up. Now, I logged in to my specific wallet. Now, I'm not opposed to showing, some of the info on here just to give you a small idea. I don't keep a lot of my stuff in my wallets or my exchanges. I keep most of my stuff offline. But I did want to give just a couple examples as to how this exchange looks, what I can do with it, and once you get verified, what it would look like on your end. So for the exchange itself, you can go to your wallet and you'll be able to see your balance. And that's where I'm at right now. So any cryptocurrencies that you have, you'll be able to see the name of the cryptocurrency, the total balance, and the total US dollar value. And you'll have a various amount of cryptocurrencies that you can purchase, many of which, if you take a quick look at this link, like Horizon, Pax Gold, Kyber Network, all not available on Coinbase. HBAR, not available, just to name a few, but there are several. Now, when you're coming into this exchange and you're working on purchasing cryptocurrency, I'm going to show you two different things that I do within this system. So if I wanted to buy cryptocurrency, I have no US dollars in my balance currently, but I have my banking all synced up. And what I do is I just transfer money into US dollars and then purchase cryptocurrency. Now, if I wanted to buy something new, then what I would do is I would either transfer more money in, or in this case, I'm going to sell one of these and then purchase something else just to give you a visual. Now, anytime you sell cryptocurrency, it creates what's known as a taxable event. So I try and avoid it as much as possible, and I am not going into taxes In this video specifically, you're going to have to trust me on that one. That is a whole can of worms that we're going to have to dig a little bit deeper in. I have already finished my taxes for our year of 2020, and I used a specific service I'll be covering. But like I mentioned in our Coinbase video, there is an ability to convert, but not like your typical conversions in Coinbase. Right here, you can really only convert your USDC or your US dollar coin, which is a stable coin on the Ethereum network, to BUSD, which is the Binance US dollar on the BEP2 chain. So they run on different chains. So you have your Ethereum network and then you have your Binance network. So you can convert in between those two, but it doesn't really do me any good if I'm going to buy a new cryptocurrency. I would have to have US dollars in order to purchase it. It's much more clunky than Coinbase. So in this case, I'm just going to sell. So let's go ahead, and I have a little bit of Decentraland. It's a NFT, more or less, like not gaming, but attention-based coin, kind of like basic attention token on Coinbase. I'm going to go ahead and sell my maximum amount of that. So I have about 106, or the equivalent of 40 US dollars. So there's a 20-cent fee for me to sell it, but I'm going to go ahead and confirm sell. And I'm going to go back to my wallet here. So now if I go back to my balances, if that updates, I should be able to see that I now have $40 in cash that I can use to purchase something. In this case, I want to buy more VeChain. VeChain, if you remember when I break down the different basic uses for altcoins, they deal with supply chain management. So I am a big fan of VeChain, and I have just as much of it as I can buy on the side in between the other major ones. Most of it I keep off of this exchange, but for this instance, let's go ahead and buy a little bit more. So I go back to that Buy Crypto tab. I'm going to purchase VeChain. So let's go ahead and select VeChain, and you'll see your US dollar balance down here. So $40.51. I usually always type it in 1 cent below, just because if you type it in exactly, sometimes the price will change very minimally and freeze everything up. So that's an additional 702 VeChain, which has the ticker VET. So hit purchase, go back to my wallet, and you can see that's processing. Now you'll be able to see all your different transactions here in your history, and you can go back page after page after page. But now in my wallet, I should see my updated balance here, which is now 17,000 and change VeChain. So all in all, it's very simple to buy and sell cryptocurrency. Again, anytime you sell it, that would be a taxable event. Now, they did just come out and say, again, not financial advice. I do not work for H&R Block. I am not a professional trader. I have no qualifications whatsoever. But they did just come out and say that if you were to just purchase, let's say Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, and just held it, that is not a taxable event. Just like if it's unrealized capital gains in some other asset that you hold, you're not making that money until you sell. But every time you sell, or most of the times when you convert different things, those are taxable events. Now, you're not being charged 20-30% on the totals. It's more or less the profit of the total that you made from that trade. But that's a different topic altogether that I am no expert on, and I am not going to break down here, just so I'm not misleading anyone directly. So as far as other things that you can do in this resource, so you can stake. Now, I'm only going to mention this. I do not stake in Binance US, but all you would do is, let's say if I had my VeChain, I could come here and I could deposit some of my VeChain into the Binance US staking pool. And if I deposit this VeChain, then I would send it to this specific address, and I would make 1 to 3% returns based on that. I'm not going to do that. I think that the way they have it set up on their website is very convoluted and difficult to follow. I'm just mentioning it just so you know they have staking options. I'm still going to do a separate total video on staking, and I'm going to clarify a lot more of it when we get to Kraken, because I like Kraken staking setup much more. But I did want to show one last thing just from the exchange side, just absolute basics. And how do we deposit something? So let's say if I wanted to deposit a cryptocurrency into here from one of my other exchanges, let's say Coinbase, for instance. So I'm already logged into Coinbase, and I go to my portfolio, which is pretty much empty. I pretty much use all of these exchanges just as a place to house cryptocurrency and then transfer it to and from different wallets or places where I want it to be. But let's go to Ethereum, let's say. So I have $1.80 worth of Ethereum in this specific account, but let's say it could be any amount, but I'm going to send it to my Binance account because I would rather use it on that exchange, or I want to sell it there and purchase some other cryptocurrency that isn't available on Coinbase. And I just don't have the cash to put in to Binance US. So I'm going to use some of my crypto from Coinbase to then fund that account. So all I would do is I would go back to my Binance wallet and I would go to my Ethereum wallet that will be on here. If I can see where that's at. Of course, all the way towards the bottom. Okay, so Ethereum wallet, and I'm going to hit deposit because I want to put that $1.80 worth of Ethereum into this wallet. So anytime you go to deposit something, it's going to generate a wallet address. And this address is specific for your account, for your wallet and how it's set up. When you copy this into anything else, if you're transferring back and forth between yourself or if you're giving it to someone else, it is incredibly, incredibly important it is copied correctly. If you try and type this in, as opposed to just clicking copy and paste the address, and you mistype it, the crypto's gone. You'll lose it. If you're accidentally on the Binance chain, as opposed to the Ethereum network chain, and you send it, it's gone. So you have to make sure that the addresses are correct. In this case, I'm sending Ethereum, which is on the ERC or Ethereum network. And I'm sending it to my Ethereum address in my Binance account. So I'm going to copy this address, which is my deposit address, and I'm going to go to my Coinbase, which is, of course, going to time out probably. Yeah. Never fails, am I right? All right, let me sign in real quick, just so that way you guys don't have to look at annoying things like my passwords and whatnot. It's crazy though, when you go and you're sending things back and forth from one to the next, you have, now I got to sign back in, and I have a couple authenticators that then send messages to my phone or go through Google Authenticator that I have to type in, which is great for network security and making sure that people don't hack into your stuff. It's just a pain in the ass every time you wind up getting logged out of one thing after the next after the next. But we are back in and we are cooking with fire. So let's go ahead and wrap up this last item here. So we copied our address, and let's say we wanted to send over that Ethereum. We go into our Ethereum wallet, we hit send, and it says enter email or address. And if you were ever curious about what does it mean, enter address, well, here you go. There's the address that we copied from our wallet over on Binance. So we enter that in. You can add an optional message. Sometimes there is a mandatory memo code that you have to add. Now you can see that would be if we were on the Binance network, there's a memo that's mandatory. On Ethereum, no mandatory memo. You can put an optional note in there if you would like. And then I can hit send all and then continue. I'm not going to. It would be so pointless to send $1.80 over and tie that up. So I'm not going to hit send. However, that would be how I would send it from one account to the next. It would load up over on that other account. And then I would see it in this wallet, in which case I could then sell it, I could stake it, I could buy other crypto with the money I sold it for, or I could just hold it in this wallet or send it to a third wallet if I wanted to. Now, one last thing that I'm going to mention before I wrap this first part up of the Binance ecosystem is they have a separate wallet that you can use and download your crypto onto, and it's known as the Trust Wallet. Now, the Trust Wallet was its own separate wallet that Binance then came and purchased and wrapped up into their ecosystem. I personally use Trust Wallet, and that is where I predominantly do most of my trading on the Binance Smart Chain. When I go in and break that down, this is what I'm going to be speaking about. If you're downloading Binance.us, I would suggest downloading Trust Wallet and just making a profile. You're not going to be trading on it yet. I wouldn't suggest purchasing anything yet, but if it's just about laying out the infrastructure, making sure that you have the apps downloaded that you would want to use, in my non-financial advice, this would be the wallet I would use with Binance. Aside from that, hopefully this dive into Binance is an ecosystem from the exchange side, why we can't use the main Binance that everyone else knows and loves around the world, and ultimately what you can still do with the Binance wallet. I hope that cleared up some of the questions about Binance US, whether it's for purchasing cryptos that you can't access like Cardano, whether it is using the BNB token or the Binance Coin in their ecosystem. There are reasons why it is beneficial. So if you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. If you could, go ahead, like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification, and as always, thank you for spending this time with me today on Viva La Coin.